Have you ever thought about how weird it would be if animals could talk?
Yeah, imagine a group of cows gossiping about the latest trends in grass.
Or a pigeon asking for directions and then pooping on you as a thank you.
Don't forget about the monkeys throwing shade at each other while swinging from trees.
And then there's the polar bear that complains about global warming while wearing a fur coat.
Oh, and the dolphin that complains about its water pressure being too high, while its neighbors are sharks.
And what if we could talk to plants too? We'd have to listen to them leaf ing complaints all day.
Ha! Leaf ing. That's a good one. But seriously, imagine a cactus complaining about dry humor.
Or a Venus flytrap talking about its love life and the dangers of being a man-eater.
Well, that's enough imagination for one day. Let's stick to talking to each other for now, shall we?
Yeah, let's stick to humans. It's less complicated that way. But it's fun to think about, right?
Absolutely. Sometimes we need to escape reality and let our imaginations run wild.
Exactly. It's like that old saying, laughter is the best medicine. And we definitely got our dose of laughter today.
Yeah, it's been a great way to lighten the mood. I'm glad we could share this ridiculousness together.
Me too. Hey, do you want to go grab a drink and continue our absurd discussions?
Sounds like a plan. Maybe we can come up with even more ridiculous scenarios.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Who knows, maybe one day we'll end up writing our own sitcom.
Stranger things have happened. Let's go get that drink and see where our imaginations take us next.
Have you ever heard of the sport called extreme ironing?
Is that where you iron clothes while skydiving?
Close, but no cigar. It's where you iron clothes in bizarre and dangerous locations like on a cliff edge or underwater.
That's ridiculous. Who came up with such a dangerous hobby?
Probably the same person who thought playing flaming tetherball would be a good idea.
Ah yes, the infamous Uncle Joe. He also suggested we try playing Jenga with live lobsters.
Speaking of lobsters, did you hear about the pop star who adopted a lobster as her pet?
No way. Who would do that?
Only Lady Gaga. She named it Larry and takes him on tour with her.
That's shellfish of her. I hope she doesn't have to claw her way out of any dangerous situations with him around.
Ha! You crack me up. Speaking of cracking, have you tried the new egg-laying competition at the county fair?
Egg-laying competition? That's extremely weird. What do they even do?
Well, you have to sit on a nest of eggs and whoever lays the most wins.
I don't know whether to be disgusted or impressed. I bet the contestants are excited to participate.
Oh, they're definitely excited. But I heard last year's winner had to see a chiropractor afterwards from sitting on the eggs for so long.
That's extreme dedication. But speaking of dedication, did you hear about the guy who spent a year living in a tree?
What? Why would anyone do that?
Apparently, he was protesting the deforestation of the Amazon rainforest. But it got me thinking, if he can live in a tree, maybe I can live in a giant burrito.
A giant burrito? How would that even work?
I don't know, but I'd be been there, done that.
I'm sure you'd be the envy of all the guac and roll fans out there.
Well, that's my plan. And if it doesn't work out, I can always try living in a pizza box.
You're a true visionary, my friend. Now let's go grab some food and brainstorm more absurd ideas. Hey, have you ever wondered what it would be like to live in a world where people have backwards faces?
Oh sure, Because what we need is a society where people can give each other the stink eye without even turning around.
But think about it, we wouldn't need mirrors anymore. We just have to look at the person in front of us.
Yeah, because walking around with your butt as your face would be so much better.
I don't think I could handle seeing my dentist with their mouth on the back of their head.
And don't forget about all the backwards hat-wearing hipsters. They'd be totally confused.
And think of all the upside-down jokes we could make. It'd be hilarious.
Yeah, until you accidentally kiss someone's nose instead of their mouth.
Or when you try to high-five someone and end up slapping their forehead.
And what about selfies? People would have to do a complete 180 to get their face in the picture.
Oh man, we've really opened up a can of worms with this one.
Yeah, but at least we'd have something to talk about at the next family gathering.
Definitely. And who knows, maybe one day we'll wake up and find that the whole world has turned their faces backwards.
Yeah, and we'll be the only ones who aren't totally disoriented.
We'll be the face-forwards rebels, leading the charge for normalcy.
And we'll have to come up with some catchy slogan, like, faces forward, folks.
Or, don't be a backward thinker, keep your face in the game.
Well, I think we've officially exhausted this topic.
Yeah, but I'm already looking forward to the next absurd conversation we have.
Oh, don't worry, we won't have to wait long for that.
Did you hear about the guy who invented lifesavers?
No, what about him?
He made a mint.
Ha! That's almost as good as the time I tried to catch some fog. I missed.
Speaking of mist, did you know that cats can't play poker in the jungle?
What? Why not?
Because there are too many cheetahs.
Oh my god, that's terrible. But you know what's worse? When you accidentally step on a grape and it lets out a little wine.
That's ridiculous, but not as ridiculous as that time we tried to teach a goldfish to play guitar.
How did that go?
Terribly, he kept playing scales.
Hey, have you seen that new superhero movie with the guy who can talk to fish?
Oh, yeah, Aquaman. I heard he's a real catch.
Well, he certainly swims in the right circles.
But did you know that before he was a superhero, he was just a regular guy working at a seafood restaurant?
Really? I guess you could say he was just trying to make ends meet.
Ha! Good one. But you know who I feel sorry for? The guy who invented the knock-knock joke.
Why's that?
Because he never got a Nobel Prize.
Ouch, that's a low blow. But you know what they say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
And when life gives you melons, you might be dyslexic.
Oh man, that's too much. I think we need to stop before we go too far down this rabbit hole.
Agreed, but let's remember to keep the puns and wordplay going next time we hang out.
Definitely, it's always a barrel of laughs with you.
Did you hear about the guy who invented lifesavers?
No, what about him?
He made a mint.
Rolls eyes, that joke is older than Betty White.
Hey, speaking of Betty White, did you know that she's older than sliced bread?
Wow, that's impressive. But back to the topic at hand, why are we talking about lifesavers?
I was just thinking, if they're called lifesavers, why don't they actually save lives? Like, imagine a lifesaver the size of a life raft.
Or what if they made a lifesaver so big that it could actually save the Titanic?
Ha! That would be a sight to see. But wait, what if they made a lifesaver so powerful that it could save the entire world?
Well, then we wouldn't need Superman anymore. We'd just call in the lifesaver.
And they could change the name to World Savers. It has a nice ring to it.
I think you're onto something there. Let's call up the Lifesaver Company and pitch them our idea.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get a cut of the profits. We could be lifesaver millionaires.
Or maybe we'll just get a lifetime supply of mints.
I don't know, I think I'd prefer the money. We could retire early and live like kings.
Kings with fresh breath, thanks to our Lifesaver stash.
You know what they say, money can't buy happiness, but it can buy a lot of lifesavers.
And in this case, that's all the happiness we need.
Have you heard about the new trend of people adopting wild animals as pets?
Yeah, I heard some dude got himself a pet alligator. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Well, at least he won't have to worry about burglars anymore. He can just say, "Meet my guard gator."
I guess that's one way to keep the house safe, but what happens when the gator gets hungry? Does he just raid the fridge?
No, silly, he orders pizza with extra meat. Or maybe he becomes a delivery gator and brings it to himself.
And what about when he needs to go for a walk? Do they put him on a leash or just let him roam free?
Maybe they put him in a stroller and pretend he's a baby. Or they just build him his own swamp in the backyard.
Yeah, because everyone has room for a swamp in their backyard. I think I'll stick to a more traditional pet, like a goldfish.
Oh, goldfish are so passé. You should get a piranha and teach it to play fetch. That would be a real conversation starter at parties.
Yeah, I can just imagine it now. Oh, you have a cute little chihuahua. Well, I have a piranha that can catch a frisbee.
Exactly. And who needs a guard dog when you have a guard piranha? Just make sure to keep your fingers away from the tank.
I think I'll pass on that one. But you know what would be even better? A pet unicorn. I could ride it to work and skip all the traffic.
Oh, absolutely. And when you get pulled over for speeding, you can just tell the cop, "Sorry officer, I can't control this thing." It's a magical creature.
And if they don't believe me, I can just sprinkle some fairy dust in their face and make my escape.
Brilliant. And if anyone asks where you got your unicorn, just say you won it in a game of Quidditch.
Or maybe I found it in Narnia. Who knows? The possibilities are endless.
Ah, the joys of having an absurd and fantastical imagination. Let's go grab a drink and dream up some more ridiculous ideas. Have you heard of the new diet that involves only eating alphabet soup?
What? That sounds ridiculous. How does that even work?
Well, you eat the letters in alphabetical order. It's called the ABC diet.
Oh, I see. So I guess when you get to Z, you just start over again.
Ha! You wish. No, when you get to Z, you start eating the bowl. It's called the omega phase.
Wow, sign me up for that. I can't wait to eat my way through the alphabet and then move on to ceramic.
And don't forget about the omega-3 fatty acids in the soup bowl. It's like a 2-for-1 deal.
I think I'll stick to my regular diet, thanks. I don't want to end up with soup for brains.
Speaking of soup for brains, have you seen the latest episode of that zombie show?
Please don't tell me you're still watching that Brain Dead series.
Hey, it's not brain dead. It's just a little undead.
Well, I guess I prefer my TV shows with a little more life in them.
Fair enough. I'll just stick to my soup and brains.
And I'll stick to my pizza and beer. But hey, if you ever get tired of eating soup and want to try something new, I hear there's a diet where you only eat foods that rhyme with your name.
Really? That's a thing?
Yup, it's called the Rhyme Time Diet. So for you, you could eat soup, loop, and poop.
That's ridiculous. But I guess if it works for some people, more power to them.
Exactly. To each their own. Just don't forget to balance it out with some healthy foods too.
Good point. Maybe I'll stick to just eating soup for dinner and have a salad for lunch.
And for breakfast, you can have some alphabet cereal. Gotta keep up with your ABCs.
Hey, it's all about balance, right?
Absolutely. And if all else fails, there's always pizza and beer.